I have been reading this sub for a while, but never thought I had any stories. Until I realized half of the stories are things my aunt would do. Before I dive into the story, it is worth noting I used to be close to my aunt, while my brother was basically another son to her. So here's the story. When I was 16, I began to receive social security money from my dad. My dad put off receiving social security for a while, so when he finally started receiving it, he had a decent amount accumulated to be distributed to his 3 underage children. This money was for us to use for school or any needs we had, since my mom really didn't have much financial help from my dad. For some reason, my maternal grandma told my aunt that we had received a big check. Unfortunately, my aunt was visiting for about a month, and we had a Christmas block party. She decided this was the perfect time to confront me, demanding I buy her an iPad. I said no, because I wanted to use the money for college. She began berating me, saying I was an entitled brat, that I could easily buy her an iPad and not miss the money. I said no, that she wasn't even related to my dad to begin with for me to buy her something she did not need. When I walked away, she began asking my brother the same thing. He said no, that we were all saving the checks we got. And she began screaming at him in front of everyone, basically recounting all she had ever gotten for him. She basically disowned him at that point. She did not speak to us for about a year, all because we would not buy her an iPad. Disclaimer for sensitive people, slight violence and mentioning blood. For some background, my brother, 8, was visiting one of his friends, 8 as well, whose mother is Arab. I took him there in the morning wearing a hoodie, and when I was to take him back, I had just short-sleeved t-shirt. I had an accident on a bike, as in bicycle, few weeks ago, and it's not that long wound on my left arm got at least a bit healed. I apologize in advance for grammar and spelling. I'm not native English speaker. The cast: me, B, brother, F, brother's friend, M, entitled mother. As I was at M's house to pick up B, I was asked by F about my hand. F: how did it happen to you? Me: it's a bit longer story, but I fell off my bike on a rocky path. F: oh, and are you okay now? Me: still hurts a little, but it's fine. Thanks for caring. M now came to the front door. What have you been saying to my kid? Me: hello, he just asked me about my injury. M: injury? Where? F: his left arm, he fell off a bike. M: really? Me: yes. M grabbed me by my left hand, perfectly on the injury, and pulled. Me: ow, easy. What are you doing? I took a look, and since I got binding down just the day before, and had these butterfly-like plasters to help with wound staying closed after some hit eye pressure after the stitches were put out, the wound started to bleed. Nothing bad though. M: that's not from a bike incident. It's from self-damaging. Sure, lady, cutting yourself leaves same injury as falling at 35 km/h on a rocky path. Yes lady, I damaged myself by attempting to damage my stuff and putting myself in extensive care unit while I'm at it. Me: I'm not a biologist, but wound from knife cut looks a bit else than wound from smashing your arm onto a rocky path. M: what the F is that? Your blood is staining me. Me: perhaps if you didn't pull Luke that. M tightened her grip and pulled me closer. F: leave him alone mom. He didn't do anything. M: no sweetie, he's putting such a bad example. Me: lady please, let me go. It hurts and I don't think you want to cause more serious injury. M tightened her grip again. Listen here you lit. Side note, I carry a stiletto switchblade in my pocket most of the time, excluding school or other public buildings. As I just get to know, in many countries carrying knives is illegal. In my country it's not very suppressed, if at all. I pulled out the stiletto, which made her back up a little, but still her grip hurt a lot. M: see, you even carry that thing around. Me: it's called self-defense. Now let me go. M: I'm calling a police. You'll get arrested for assault. She finally loosened her grip, but still held me. F and B came back with some bandage. Surprisingly, M has let me to bandage my arm. M: stay here, the police is coming. After a while police actually arrived. P1, police officer 1. P2, police officer 2. P1 to M: so, what did actually happen? M: he assaulted me with a knife. P2, seeing my arm in a bandage, blood stain on M's hand, but no wound and several drips on the ground. May I see the knife, please? Me, sure. I hand him over a perfectly clean blade. P2, have you cleaned it since we were called? Me, no sir. P2, why did you pull out a knife on this lady? Me, it was a self-defense. She grabbed me by the injury on my arm to the point it started to bleed. P2, could we see the arm, please? I put down the bandage. P2, ma'am, if he assaulted you, why does he have perfectly clean knife? There's blood, opened injury and bruises on his arm, while you seem perfectly fine. M, he cleaned it. Me, I don't think you can perfectly clean a blood from a blade to make it look like just unpacked with a t-shirt or toilet paper. M, he's also damaging himself. P2, that's a serious issue, but not a crime. Is it true, young man? Me, no, I have the injury from a bike accident. P2, ma'am, can I please take a sample of the blood on your hand? M, why? P2, so we can see whose blood it is. It will help us with the investigation. M reluctantly let P1 take a sample. She was then asked to wash her hand. M washed her hands, and what was that? Perfectly uninjured hands. P1, so, ma'am, since you don't seem to be injured, young man here has opened wound and several bruises, I don't think he assaulted you. Now, I knew that my brother was and is raised to no matter what, to always tell the truth. Me, why don't the kids tell their thing? B, the lady grabbed Op first, so he took the knife. F didn't say anything, but I don't blame him. P2, ma'am and young man, you both need to come with us. At the police station, we both gave our sides of the story. I had to give the blade as an evidence and the blood was tested. No traces of blood or anything else was found on the blade and blood from M's hand was found to be mine. All they had to do was determine blood group. My family was asked about pressing charges, but since we knew state is already pressing charges, declined but will have to go as a witness when the state charges her of assault on minor, injury and lying to the authorities. And yes, my stiletto is safely back in my pocket. I will try to keep you updated. So this will be a pretty short story as I didn't witness this, but oh well. So in 5th grade, my school had this thing called Friday clubs, and these clubs were run by the teachers. Basically, every Friday we'd get out of class early to go do random crap. One of these clubs was a basketball club led by Mr. Math. He was my math teacher, and one person in this club was Tim, obviously not his real name, and was the biggest douche in the entire school. So one day, the basketball club was out on the blacktop playing knockout. Tim ends up getting out, so since he has a temper as short as Danny DeVito, he throws a rock at the hoop they weren't using, shattering it. Word got around the school pretty fast, and I knew this would happen at some point. And I've seen this guy's mom, Karen haircut, on her phone a crap ton. Upper to upper middle class mom, you get the picture. Basically, after his parents hear about this, they refuse to pay the damages of the backboard. No one will upvote this, but I don't really care, just wanted to share. There is a small tech shop in my area that sells old Xbox 360 and PS3 games. I was going to get my PS4 repaired, and when I'm saying what has happened to my PS4, a woman walks into the store with her about 9-year-old son with an Xbox One game. She interrupts me and says to the shop owner, why does this game not work on my son's thing? Shop owner says, what console does he have? Let me check for scratches. The son says, I have an Wii U. I was trying to hold back laughter because the kid was starting to cry. Shop owner says about how they need a certain console for it. The mum says, give me it. Then what? Give me the thing he needs to play it on. The son now starts to look embarrassed and starts tugging his mum's arm so they can leave. Mum, stop, no, this man scammed us. The mum takes the game off the counter and leaves the shop, giving the middle finger to the both of us. For those who missed the first 2 parts, this happened just 1 hour ago. Cast: Ed, a total piece of crap. Me, another total piece of crap. Some backstory here, I'm the one who washed the dishes after dinner. But today I wake up at 5 AM for school, which I always do, and I always sleep in the afternoon, but today I didn't sleep in the afternoon, because I was playing basketball at the time. So when we finished dinner, I told Ed that I need to sleep a little, while before washing the dishes, his face was kinda agitated. He's always like that, so I didn't pay much attention to it. I got into my room. About 10 minutes later, that a-hole broke into my room. Yes, broke without even knocking, and tell me to wash the effing dishes. Ed, go and wash it. You've got the whole afternoon for sleeping. Me, no, I was playing basketball this afternoon. I told you that. Ed, your time management is crappy. Can guarantee that you slept this whole afternoon. Me, yeah, whatever. Give me 1 hour, then I will go for it. Ed, go for it now. Me, leave me alone. I'm exhausted. Please be thoughtful, for once. Ed, F you. You mean that I was never thoughtful to you? You a-hole? Me, enough of it. Stop the swearing. It doesn't make you become any better. I said give me a hour, then I will go for the dishes. Ed, alrighty then. You crappy a-crap. Go F yourself. I was pretty irritated at the moment. He didn't only swearing at me, but he almost go and attack my cat who I just bought with my very own money. Me, what is wrong with you? My cat is not involved. Leave him be. Ed, F you. He came and grabbed a knife. I could see that from distance and I quickly put my kitty away. As a son, I didn't repulse. He sliced the knife into my palm. I did not expect this, and it keeps bleeding. Me, why? Ed, go and wash the effing dishes. Me, why did you do this to your biological son? You total a-hole. Ed, you swear at me? Go effing die. He threw out a crap tons of nonsenses BS. One of them is my mother is dead because of my ungratefulness towards her. Now I'm washing the dishes with a deep cut on my palm. And TBH, it's not cool at all. Well, he truly convicted me and physically assaulted me just because I needed a break and delayed the washing up. I really don't know what to do now. Followed almost every single replies in the original post. I called the cops on my father. They came to my dad's house and then started confronting him. As expected, the cops' crappy works cannot get him arrested or even get him to appear in court, although I tried to convict him on the call with the cops. They interrogated him and then soon released him, and I didn't even have the option of pressing charges. But I've at least escaped from this crap show with that ashlery, alcoholic, abusive father, knowing that calling the cops on him will be useless. I left the house the day after being sliced, with all of my stuff and my cat. Luckily I had my friend James to help me move my things out of the house, and I also booked a flight to Vladivostok where my grandparents stay. I told them through the phone that I need to get away from this a-hole, and they, with my relatives, said that I was always welcome as a family member of them. I finally found a way to escape from this nightmare. On the evening of August 28th, my phone exploded with calls and messages from him. He said that I was a disgrace and an ungrateful son and my mom would be extremely upset seeing me took all of my stuff and moved out of the house without informing him. I said that I did not feel safe staying near him as I could be killed anytime, and I hope that I would not see him again. Then I blocked all of his contacts to me. Changed my phone number. Me and my cat spent 3 days at James's house before we bid our farewell to him and his family as I took a flight to where I will be safe. Love you, James. I've gotten off the plane for a few hours now. Now I'm on the train to where my grandparents and my relatives live. Although I'll have to take my studies again, they will count me in as a family member, and I know that I will be loved. Although there is a small chance of that asshole also book a flight to Vladivostok to look for me. I don't mind that at all. And if it happens, I will confront him and tell him to go F himself. The wound on my hand has somehow healed as I went to see a doctor, if you guys were curious. To everybody who have told me to call a cop, told me how to treat the wound, sympathized me, thank you all. Welp, it's been quite some time since my move to Russia. I'm currently not in a good mood, but I managed everything just fine. To anybody who wonders how did he know where I am, I literally stay with my grandparents in their house. He definitely knew where it's located since it's his wife's parents' house. After 2 fine months in Russia, yesterday while I was helping my grandma prepare for dinner, we both heard a knock on the door. To my surprise, it's the a-hole who left a scar on my right palm 2 months ago. I can still feel the numbness on it. He looked crappy, even more alcoholic, and seemed to abuse drugs. He said hi and asked to get into the house. His politeness is suspicious and made me feel worried about what he was going to do. He apologized to me profusely, but he also said that I was in the wrong too. I admitted it. He also said that now he is living alone in his house after I left him. He threw bullcraps that he missed me and he didn't want to lose his only son. Dad has 2 sons. My brother is currently living in Moscow after cutting his dad out of his life too, and he didn't want me to cut him out of his life, and if I came back he would treat me like a prince, blah blah blah. I tried to calm my butt down and let my grandma do the talking. She said I was fine in Russia and I was scared of being slaughtered by him. Yes. This is the part where he became an undoubted scrap and started swearing at my grandma, grabbed my shirt's collar and shrieked, "I will effing kill myself if you don't reconcile and come back to live with me." As a fairly hefty dude, I pulled his hand off my neck and threw him out of my grandparents' house. Grandma told my uncle who tried to interfere the incident to call the cops. I then slammed the door, left him screaming loudly, hysterically that he would effing kill himself, throwing nonsensical craps at my grandparents and unclesons for taking me away from him, and crap talking him until the cops arrived and escorted him away. I'll let my grandparents to do whatever they want to him, either press charges or somehow try to expel him from Russia. It's been more than 20 hours since the incident, and I yet to hear from him. Grandma talked to the police this morning, but she refused to talk about what happened to him to me. I'm very grateful of my grandma tbh. I also don't really give a ref about my dad. Considered myself as a toxic F who lost both of his parents months ago. Thank you for watching. Slap that like button and comment your opinion on these stories below. I'm waiting. Write that comment. Seriously. Have you written it yet? If you don't comment, you make a bunny cry somewhere. You're not that kind of person. I know. Anyways, peace out and catch you tomorrow.